All right, we're live here down in We're not live. I don't know why I said we're live, but we're here with Clarke, Schmidt, and Mike King. First round of interviews down here in spring training. We've never actually done a two-person interview here, and there's 5 of us total, so I don't know how it's going to go. But fellas, how we doing?
We're good. Yeah, glad to be here.
You guys are rising the ranks. I mean,
wait 1 second. Doesn't he introduce you to? You're put on the spot every time. He's like, "I'm good. I don't know what to say."
Yeah,
he does it to us every podcast. We never know what to say.
Awkward.
I'm not gonna say I'm not doing good.
Yeah, what are you gonna say? You're a schmuck.
It's a conversation starter, okay? God damn it!
But it's not really a conversation starter. It's quick. It's like they're good, and then that conversation ends.
This is a rough start to the show. So you guys have a very interesting dynamic. You're really good friends, I assume. You're throwing partners, and you're both. From what I gather, and you're both fighting for a rotation spot right now. I mean, what is that dynamic like every day in spring training, where you guys are boys, but you're also going at each other every day?
Yeah, I don't think it's anything like personal. I mean, like at the end of the day, it's whatever happens. It's not like if he gets the job over me, I'm gonna never talk to him, or it's
I will.
Yeah. No, it's just at the end. We're all trying to do our own job, and it's our careers, and at the end of the day, we're trying to help a team win a World Series. So it's everybody's time comes at a certain time. Right. So it's not like there's any hard feelings there at all.
Yeah, I honestly would say I really haven't thought about it too much.
Yeah.
And you don't want to have that added pressure of like, oh, I got to pitch well to then be the 5th spot in the rotation. So going out there, obviously playing catch with Clarke. I don't know. Everybody that's like Loaiziga, I know like Monty's kind of sewed up that 4 spot, but like they're all really good friends. So like we just go out there and hang out. And then however the cards fall, they fall.
What's it been like so far in spring training where, Sevy's just gone now, and then, obviously Domingo has his things going on, and Paxton, and it's like the rotation's like kind of now like wide open. It's like you just never. We talked to you last year, and I remember you got on me because I said something about you being a reliever, and you kind of were like, you got a little mad because at the time
I had to break up the fight.
Yeah, pretty much. Look at us now. We're sitting next to each other. Yeah. No, but you got on me a little bit because, well, at the time there was no openings in the rotation, but you're like, anything could happen, injuries happen, all that. Now look at this. It's like we're down to like 2 guys who originally thought we were going to be in the rotation to start the year, and now it's wide open to all you guys. So I mean, like that dynamic has to be pretty crazy as far in spring, right? Because you guys are now being in the talks of starting the year with the team.
Yeah. I mean, you saw it last year, and obviously the injuries suck, and like you don't wish that upon anybody. That's not how you want to get to the big leagues, because you just want like the best rotation out there to win a championship, and like. If it happens, then it's just one of those things where you gotta step up and play your part.
Yeah, a lot of people have been saying, they don't want to rush you, into the spot, and you're not in the 40-man and all that. But right. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of have the cards stacked against me a little bit, you could say, with not being on the roster. And obviously, everybody talks about the manipulation of like service time, whatever it is, and. But yeah, I think everybody talks saying they don't want to rush me, but I personally feel like I'm ready. Like I feel like I can get through or manage a major league lineup and get through a lineup and get hitters out at a consistent basis and get swing and misses or whatever it may be. I know that my stuff is good enough to play, and I've always had confidence in my abilities, and so it's one of those things where it's like I'm not afraid of it. Like I kind of embrace it, and that was kind of my mentality coming into spring. I wanted to show the coaches and everybody that I need to impress that I can get these guys out, and I'm not afraid to go out there and kind of pitch with a chip on my shoulder and kind of embrace that role.
What's it been like for you getting a lot of headlines this spring? You got Pitching Ninja tweeting out.
You're welcome for that, by the way. People, some guy mentioned to him, no, it was just me. That was great.
People are calling you Garrett Cole Jr. Right. I started that.
You literally started.
These are the Clarke Schmidt fan club right here.
I started about a half hour ago. I think we're going to try to gain that steam. Okay. But seriously,
have
you been getting a lot of headlines? Or are you just like going through Twitter, like searching Clarke Schmidt and just looking at every compliment that you're getting, like retweet?
No, I feel like if I was to do that, I think my head would just like explode. I think that like something like time like right now when I'm pitching good and everybody's like, oh, talking about me, but then like a week from now I could go up and give up like 5 runs.
That's when you delete Twitter.
Yeah, that's when I exactly. So it's like
everyone.
Exactly. So it doesn't. I feel like you can't do good or bad. So I try to stay out of it and try not to pay too much attention to it. My family, my parents are so into it. My brother's into it, so it's cool to kind of see like them. They'll be like, hey, did you see that so and so hit you up or so and so shouted you out? But I don't take it with too much grain of salt.
Did you get the on Instagram? Your sweatshirt?
I did, yeah. I swear to God.
You
Yeah.
know
did-
what? I get
did
that advertised
too.
for me
I
all
know.
the time.
I
actually.
got that on
Is
Instagram.
that the BYLT one?
I have no.
It's fucking fantastic.
Oh my god, I know exactly.
I
Yeah.
know, and I ordered it. Came in a fucking small. I can't wear it. It's still in the package.
I bought. It was something like
That's
you had
too
to
much.
get. It was like 20% off if your order was over $100 and free shipping. So I was like, all right, I'll just like stack up on stuff. So I got like 2 shirts. I think I got like a pair of sunglasses and this sweatshirt. And the only thing that was right was this sweatshirt.
Yeah,
Yes.
it takes like a month
It's
to
a
get
guy-
here, too.
We're all
from,
about
like-
to have the ad on our Instagram
Yeah,
when we pull it up.
exactly.
It's gonna be- yeah, they're
I
listening
have
right
not
now.
gotten one
I'm
good
gonna
thing
buy
off
that
Instagram.
tonight.
Yeah,
It's a
we're
great
all gonna
fucking
come back.
Real good hoods.
Yeah, he looks great in it.
Yeah. That's what I did Christmas. I just Google searched cool hoodies for men and just like tried to find as many cool
I've
hoodies
had like
as
6
I could.
questions. I just been staring at a sweatshirt because like
Yeah.
I've wanted to
Lost
wear
some
that for
days.
so goddamn
It's like a
long.
grid.
This is why we added the podcast. We ask questions about facing each other, betraying all that. Where'd you get that?
I did have a question about throwing partners though,
Yeah.
because as everyone knows on this podcast, I played.
So you're the most athletic, you say?
Yeah, for
Well,
not
I
mean,
close.
clearly.
It's not
I'm
close. Yeah,
faster.
that's just
I
a lot.
run faster.
I run a 4.7 40.
Wait,
We
I
might
played-
have to have a little setup in the
I
hallway
literally
right here.
do it right now. I played 40 seconds on the Rockland
Running in a
Boulders,
hotel
too.
that was
hallway
like
is
a
the
decade
fastest a
ago.
human can be.
Yeah.
Like, you fly
People
on
are
those
talking
things.
Hotel
about it.
tag growing up. You
Yeah,
got-
good traction on the road.
Great.
tell them about your rock and boulders thing real quick.
Yeah, so again, I played Mount St. Mary College, D3, sick.
Yeah.
Probably, it's basically South Carolina, but
yeah.
a little better.
SEC.
Yeah, I don't even. You
The
kinda,
South Carolina
Yeah.
of the North is what everyone
South
says.
Carolina. People at our school say it's South Carolina's trash, but it's just. But yeah, I went to like this Rock and Bowlers tryout, like where they like recruited me to go there. I swear to God, I made a team for 30 seconds. They're like, "Wow, you ran pretty well." I went 2 for 3 in the game. They cut me in 30 seconds because some guy came off an injury like right away. Someone called in. It was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, this so and so's back. You're cut." What the fuck? Do I even get paid or anything?
What do I do now? Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta go like get a job now. I was a fucking florist at Home Depot after
And now
that.
you're working at Barstool. So.
Yeah,
So there's 3
Now we're
professional
here.
baseball players.
yeah, I'm for sure
Yep.
way better than them. That's
Yeah.
just a fact. Yeah.
You asked about throwing partners.
Yeah, because throwing partners was huge for me when I was playing. Like just because it's always usually your boy.
Right,
But I
yeah.
was also a pain in the ass to throw because I never wanted to throw. So like, do you guys have like a regimen? Everything?
Yeah,
like, every
that's
day?
actually a really good question. So it is a very strict process in picking a throwing partner. Like you have to be on the same page where like there's some guys that are just like love long tossing,
Yep.
and then there's some guys that are like I won't go past 90 feet, and then it's like so weird with King and I. Like one day we'll be like, hey, you want to go to 120 today? And it's like we'll throw out to 120 feet and it'll be perfect. And the next day it's like let's throw a night. Like we're always on the same page of how far we want to
Which
throw.
is huge.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is perfect. And
Yeah.
then like neither of us like are trying to blow each other up. We're not like
That's the one right
yeah,
there.
we're not like throwing breaking balls,
Fucking
We're not
can't
throwing
stand
like
that,
sinkers
yeah.
at our shins or anything like that.
And when you're close, you have a little target.
Yeah.
You put your glove up. You
Yep.
gotta hit the target there.
yeah,
wins
and you
that.
see like we'll watch other like catch partners like Loiziga or all those other guys. They throw like 105 from like 60
And then
feet away.
ripping it.
And they're like diving out of the way and stuff, and we're King and I are just like tossing sinkers at each other's hips and stuff.
But that was so I'm really opinionated. So like when it comes to a person, I make like my first judgment is usually what I stick with like for the rest of my life. And I was just telling a story to my roommates. There's a kid in the minor leagues, Braden Bristow, and he was in Trenton this year. And I threw with him in 2018 in the spring. I didn't know anybody when I got traded over here. Played catch with him, and he was blowing me up like sinkers, sliders, like at my shins. And I'm telling you, I hated the kid ever since.
Yeah.
And then once I actually started to like hang out with him, I was like, this kid's actually a really good dude. I was like, this kid sucks. Like if you're gonna be that bad of a throwing party, you cannot be a good dude. And then like I'm finally
yeah,
beating
no,
him.
you'll lose friends over
Yeah.
throwing.
Yeah,
partners.
100%. No,
Yeah.
you're usually a prick if you're doing that.
Yeah.
You usually are in real life.
I'm like, oh god. But yeah, so we're pretty chill because like I'm not really trying to throw with like extreme intent or like try to
Right.
just sink the shit out of the ball.
Especially when you have to like pitch later in the day or something. Like you don't want to have to worry about this guy going at your ankles. While like I need to actually have a long toss and not
Yeah.
have to worry about that.
How did you guys decide on each other? Was it like a dating process to get some other
Speed
contenders
dating or
out there and
something.
then you just came together?
Yeah, we have like there's like a throwing partner Bumble, and you just like
Right.
just swipe through it.
Got to be at least 6 feet.
Yeah. No, I guess it just happened naturally. It was one day we were like, "Hey, you want to throw?" And then it was like, "Okay." It was like you got to try everyone out. It's like speed dating, like you said.
My first day I threw with Brooks Krisky, and he
Yeah,
throws
Z-
100.
he just
and
throws
he
Z-balls.
like short arms it, Z balls it, so like it's coming at me, and I'm telling you, I think I'm catching it at my waist, and then all of a sudden it's like up on my face
Yeah.
at 100, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? So then I was like, not throwing with you again, and then right when I don't know, it was like random day, I was like, Clarke, you need somebody? And we just went.
And then the other day, I think he was starting, or somebody had a bullpen day, so your schedules are kind of off. You don't throw together, and I had to throw with Tyler Lyons. And
Oh my god,
dude,
that's me. Me and Mush love Tyler Lyons.
Dude.
Hubs hates him.
They like him because his last name is with a Y, and they think it's so
Dude,
cool.
if he
The
could,
Lion King.
If he could start every game, I would agree.
Yeah.
too.
oh
I
well,
would,
he
yes.
would be if he just threw all slider. I mean, he threw a slider, and I literally was like, I put my glove up over here, and it ended up like I just dropped it, and I was like, you can get a catcher, I can't catch you.
Like, I'm a pitcher for a reason. I didn't want to have to deal with this.
Yeah, I know. I
I'm
was like, all
gonna
right,
do
I'm
somebody
done. I'm
else.
going in.
That's unbelievable. So who would be your scariest guy to have you catching partner with? Who would be a guy? Well, I guess you mentioned Loizaga because his movement's ridiculous and his
I
speed.
feel like Chapman must
Who
be.
are we-
Oh, it's Chapman.
Chapman's actually pretty good.
No,
I've seen
yeah.
his catch play is pretty good.
Chad Green.
Britton is awful because
Britton,
Britton just
oh, yeah.
rips it the whole time, and Ottavino because he'll
yeah.
and he always because he doesn't throw too much, so he'll say every time he throws, it's got to be with like intent, conviction, like he's on the mound, and now he's just ripping those 100-foot sliders that like take
Yeah,
off.
it's the high intent guys that will get you. Like a lot of guys don't. They won't. You'll see like Cole or someone out there. They just like toss it, and then like there will be someone just rip it. Like Britton just throwing 94-mile-an-hour sinkers at you.
So
Like,
sometimes it's running, sometimes it's just straight sink, sometimes it's cutting. So you're like, come on, dude. But him and Green play catch together because Green blows him up
yeah,
too.
he's blowing
Yeah,
doors.
his movement's absolutely insane too. Something I feel like this year being publicized more. Maybe it's because the Garrett Cole edition and all the young guns and all that. But the live BPs, I feel like have not been tweeted like they have been this year in the past. So we're seeing all you guys. We're seeing the results. What is it like throwing a live BP to guys like Gleyber Torres and all these guys, these DJ LeMahieu? Like, how do you have any fear in the back of your head? Like, please don't hit this guy. Please don't hit this guy. Or like, is it, you see DJ LeMahieu and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
How am I going to get this?
I think pitching inside is like one of the things that you're kind of like you kind of pump it. I don't want to like. I faced Gary Sanchez for the first time, and I was like, I don't want to throw a sinker inside because if I just let it run and it hits him in the wrist, and that's all I need. It's just I'm going instantly back down to the other side of the street, going to minor league camp. Yeah, Schmidt's out of here. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, it's kind of like nerve wracking a little bit as far as like pitching inside and stuff like that, but it's all good.
The good thing about it being early in the year is they also haven't seen live pitching.
Yeah,
so now,
so-
like when you're facing DJ LeMahieu, you're like, I kind of got a leg up
Yeah.
right now because if I'm throwing something in the zone, his eyes might not be like ready for it yet.
Right.
So you kind of get a false sense of like you're friggin' nasty because all
Yeah.
these guys haven't seen
I
it.
think it might have been, I hate to bring his name up here, but JD Martinez said something about like how just they're so lost to the plate right now, and pitchers have such a big advantage because like it takes like a full month for them to get back in the rhythm. Like he's like, I'm the worst hitter of all time right now, but once the season starts, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that, so I guess that's the same way.
Yeah, first week I faced Sanchez, and I just my first IBP I like carved, I struck everyone out, and then my second IBP the next week, like first AB, Clint Frazier took me like
Well,
breaking
he's
ball.
like taking everything
Yeah,
too seriously
he
right
hit it
now.
to the moon.
And
I
he's
was
got his
like,
new batting
yeah,
stance.
he's
and
trying
thinks
too
he's
hard. I'm like, come on, dude. Like,
thinks he's like the righty
Right.
Juan Soto with that batting stance. But I mean, I don't hate it as long as he cracks his team and produces. Good for him.
yeah.
Is there anyone you really like want to get at? Like, is there anyone you talking shit against? Like any hitters? Like, I need to get this
So like
guy.
from what we piggyback off that, when you're a hitter, I feel like everyone's gonna say they want to hit Canley because they can just talk shit to Canley because Canley talks shit to them. So
Right.
is there a reverse guy?
I would probably say Frazier, and then he took me Bridge, so it doesn't matter.
Mine was Chris Gittins. I talk about because
He's on fire.
he's on fire now too. Yeah, but when I was in Trenton with him, I like to give myself confidence too. So when we were talking about like how we'd get each other out, or pitchers were talking about how we'd get guys out on the team, and I told I said that Chris Gittins is like the easiest out in the world because he was like sitting right there. And he was like, you kidding me? You kidding me? He's like, my power alley's right center. I take that two-seamer to right center. and then I'd be like, I'll just like sink it in. Right on right changeups, you're screwed. You'd go 0 for 100 with like 90 punch-outs. And then we faced each other in live BP, I don't know, like a couple weeks ago. And I got him, it was like a ground ball or something. But I remember like when he was up in the box, I actually got nervous because I was like,
It was like a playoff game all of a
and
sudden.
I said it to like 40 people that he'd go 0 for 100 against me. So like, he gets it.
Was there a crowd watching at that point?
No.
That's hilarious. So you're up here. you're pretty much in the mix for the first last year. You're still getting back in the swing of things. You as well. First impressions of anybody you hadn't met before. Anyone blow you away? Like, oh, that's not how I thought he was. Like, that's cool. Like in an interesting way, or knows everyone is as you expected.
Honestly, I wouldn't say. I mean, everyone's just like so cool. Like everyone is chill. They're all just normal dudes. Like there's not one that I was like, I would not want to hang out with that guy. I'm trying to think who.
Judge shocked me last year just at how nice he was.
Right. I think you
when I first met him.
Yeah, like that's not fake.
No,
how
that's
he
just
is
how
in
he
media,
is.
he is actually like he's like so nice.
But
We want to get him on and like crack him, like make him just like.
You can't,
There's got to
dude.
be something.
He's the
beneath
most
it.
genuine dude. Like
Before I worked at Barstool, down here I went out, went to American Social, fantastic place.
Yeah.
And I was out with a couple people, and he was like he knew Devin Travis from the Blue Jays was with him, and then he just like came and hang out, like just drinking with us, taking shots and stuff. It was like, and I think he also thought I was Aaron Sanchez. I think that's what the reason why he might have been so nice.
Yeah, I see the resemblance.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It was pretty tough. He literally was like, "Oh, nice to see you, bro." I was like, "Yeah, nice to see you too, dude."
Yeah.
Like I was just like, my eyes like this the entire time.
It's the athletic build.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's but he was like the man the entire time, just chilling. But
No,
yeah,
he's so-
I definitely told him I was Aaron Sanchez the whole time.
But like one of my best friends I went to high school with was kid Tommy Pannone. He's in the big leagues with the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
He was at Fresh Kitchen down the street, and Judge walked in, and he told me that it was absolutely starstruck by him, and he hasn't been starstruck like ever. But the stature that he has, and then how nice he was like, dude, this guy's a star.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
no, it's insane how nice. Like he's the most genuine dude.
Let's hope the guy's healthy.
What
and
is
figures this thing out.
DJ LeMahieu like? We've been trying to like. Is he just as like?
Does he just study tape all the time?
Right? Does he speak? Like what?
I'll let King take that one on.
He's definitely shy, like especially to start, and when he talks, it's very low.
You listen.
But yeah, when he talks, it's like
You definitely listen.
what?
Right.
Attention.
It's like when your dad yells at you. Like
Yeah.
your mom's always yelling. When your dad yells at you, you listen.
Yeah.
And even like I sat down on the bench. It was opening day for spring training, and I was sitting on the bench, and he's sitting next to me, and I hear like kind of a whisper, and I was just like, "What?" I said something, and I turn around, and he's like looking at me, and I was just like, "So you're obviously talking to me." I'm like, "What did I just hear?" And then I'm like, "What'd you say?" And he says it again, and I still couldn't
Oh,
hear.
no.
And like,
That's
I
the
don't
worst.
know,
The
like,
second-
I don't say what like
You
4
gotta
times. So
smile and
I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, to this day, still. I mean, like I've had conversations with him where he actually speaks normally, but I don't know if it was like in a crowd, if like his voice, just because it's like so low, was just like a.
That could have been the most important question in your life. You have no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah. And he's just like, why'd he say yeah?
And since then, he's judged him completely differently. All
Yeah,
of
it's
that
like,
is.
man, he just laughed at me when I told him something really personal. Wait, didn't you say they played? Well, you guys have like a Madden
Yes.
tournament?
See, that came out today. That whole
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. This was side backtrack. When I got up last year to the big leagues, my first plane ride, he almost like led the plane. It was insane. Where like we got like a social kind of part of the plane where it's like talkative and guys are loud and drinking whatever it is, and then there's like a sleeping part of the plane. And he's in the like loud part of the plane, like playing cards, being like the dealer, like leading it all. And I'm like,
DJ LeMahieu.
and and at the time, I never said a word to him, so I had no idea who he was. And now it's like he's like right there, sitting next to Judge playing cards, and I'm like, what the hell?
What's going on?
Yeah.
Maybe that's his thing. Like only on planes, his
They say-
personality comes out.
somebody was-
The altitude.
Somebody was saying that like he won like the biggest pot ever, and he was just like picked up the money. Just didn't
Where
even rap.
everyone
They're like,
was going nuts.
they're like, all right, okay.
Well, this is what we said last episode.
Right.
We asked about who's the best poker player, and I said DJ LeMahieu. So I guess is that correct?
Oh, 100.
Yeah,
That's
has
that's
to
got to
be.
be true.
Look at that. And we said the worst would be Cantley. Because he would just like, if he had like pocket aces, he would like dig.
He'd be so excited. He's like,
Yeah.
flush.
Last year, I nicknamed you the Champagne Whisperer because literally everywhere you went in September,
You know, we should have called him the Champagne King. Now that I think about
Yeah.
it, huge
That's
missed opportunity.
He
big.
also started as just Champagne Man, and I like that better than Whisper. When I heard that,
Whisper's
Champagne
kind of
Whisperer,
weird.
like, yeah, no.
You don't want
Well, like a-
Champagne King would
All
have
right.
been hilarious.
Yeah, I was going.
I don't want to
Yeah.
picture him whispering the prayer.
Yeah.
all right, he whispers to the champagne.
You're
and
gonna
speaks
pop
back.
today.
All right, Champagne Man. So Champagne King.
What do you prefer?
King's good. Just
Okay.
not Whisper.
Okay. all right. But so everywhere you went in September, they either won the division, the championship, or a playoff series. I mean,
It was nuts. Yeah. I mean, so I guess once I got to Scranton, that's when we clinched. So that's when we popped champagne when I got up there. And then it was one of those where I knew that there was a very small chance that I could get called up to the big leagues, but I didn't know like how big of a chance it was. But it was in the back of my head. So after we lose in playoffs in Scranton, Jay Bell, the manager, calls in. It was like Higgy, Valera, I think it might have been Wade. It was like all the guys that were on the 40-man that were still in Scranton get now the September call-up. And so after the game, we're all kind of sad. But then Jay's like, hey, Higgy, come in my office. Talks to him. Higgy comes out. We all give him like the claps like, oh, you're going back to the big leagues. After everybody's done, he goes, King, come in my office. And I'm like, oh, my God.
Let's go.
I'm like, here we go. My heart drops. I'm like, here we go. And he was like, I wish this was a better conversation, but you're going down to Trenton to pitch in their playoffs. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And so we go to Trenton, and yeah, we win in Trenton, and we pop Champagne King. And then it's like the same thing happens where Patrick Osborne calls me into his office, and I'm like,
there's nowhere else
oh my
to
God.
go.
I'm like, he can't
Where
set me
to
down.
go?
There's no quadruple A. I can't call you.
Off-season
just
has
cut.
begun for minor leaguers.
And I'm like, oh my God. And it was like the exact same thing. I wish this was a better conversation, but we need you to stay hot. So we're going to send you to Tampa to the spring training complex to keep throwing just in case we need you. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And I'm like calling my mom, like, this is going to be terrible. Like, I'm just going to rot away in Tampa for a month and then go home. And my off season starts later, all that stuff. And she was like, but just in case, like, you do get called up, you will, like, gladly go to Tampa. I'm like, yeah, definitely. Go to Tampa. I was there for like 4 days by the time I got called up. So I was like, all right, it all pays off.
So how did the call-up conversation go, the non-fake one?
It was actually kind of weird because so it was Kevin Reese and Schmidt that did it, and they like huddled around me, and I thought I was in trouble. I didn't like I'm one of the like I'm very like on the straight and narrow. I was not doing anything bad, but like I'm like, oh my God. And I was talking to a guy, Joe Sierra, he's in our sports science department, and he slowly like walks away as Reese and Schmidt walk up to me, and I'm like,
This is so
oh my
staged.
God. Yeah. And so he like walks away thinking that I'm going to get yelled at, and I was laying down, rolling out in the gym, and they're like, what have you done today? And I was like, I just got here. Like, I'm starting my warm-up.
It's such a bad start to what have you done today?
Yeah. And I'm laying down, too. So it was even more like, because they're like standing over top of me, like looking down at me. And Reese is just like, I said, like, I'm just like starting my activation. And he said, like, he flipped his words on me. It was pretty smooth. He was just like, oh, you're going to get activated tonight, like in the big leagues or whatever. And I was like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, we got to get you going. Like, you're going to be on a plane in a little bit. So I was just like, seriously?
You sure this time?
Yeah.
I'm definitely going.
And so I just like gave them both daps, pretty good daps too by both of them.
Better than
said
mine.
thank you. And then it was like a scramble. Just like I go upstairs to Nick Avanzato. Avanzato gets me a plane to go up there, and it was like I landed at 4:30, but it was in Newark. And then with traffic and everything, I didn't get to the stadium until 6 o'clock for a 6:30 game. And they basically said, if Tanaka doesn't go 5, you have to pitch. Oh my God. And I'm like, I've like never pitched out of the pen. I don't have a routine. I'm not even able to do my routine because I just got here. I barely said hi to Boone and Larry, and I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
And so it was. I remember it was the first inning. I was in the bullpen playing catch, and like you can only play catch 60 feet in a bullpen, and I'm like ripping it in the bullpen, trying to get my arm going, just in case I have to throw later on. And my mom and everybody's like, my mom said that she looked on Twitter. And everybody was freaking out that Tanaka was hurt because it was right after the
Yes.
Oh, I remember that.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I think we literally were tweeting. We're like, Mike King's going to get in the game.
And
Meanwhile.
it was just me like making sure that my arm, because I didn't want to play catch for the first time like right before I'm about to pitch. So I was like, all right, let's get it going. But and it was kind of, I would have loved to pitch that day, but I was kind of happy I didn't, and I was kind of happy that I got acclimated to like the big leagues before I got in.
So you had never come out of the pen before that?
Every time I've come out of the pen, it's been like a scheduled inning. So it'll be like in the Trenton Championship, Clarke was going, like we were piggybacking each other, but I was not going to come in the middle of an inning. So I don't know when Clarke got pulled with like 2 outs in 1 inning, and they brought James Reeves in to finish the inning, and then I had the next. So it was all like I never had like the panic of like throw as many times as you can, get hot, and then go out there. And I'm like, wait, I might be doing this right now, and it's like in the big leagues, and I just got here.
It's so hard too. Like it's so like even now when we're in spring training, like we'll come in like the 6th or 7th, whatever it is, 5th inning, whatever it is, and it's like I'm like constantly asking relievers. I'm like, am I on time right now? Like, am I too early? Because I'm like throwing, and then like Harkey is like, you need to slow it. Like you're way too early, and I'm always way too early. And so then they're like, just sit down for a minute, and then I'm like, all right. So it's like it's impossible to gauge like if you don't have like a set schedule from going to a starter to a reliever.
Yeah, 100%. So then you finally debut was in Texas, I believe, right? Describe all that.
Harkey again. I already talked to him about it, but so there were 3 times. So we started in New York, we went to Tampa, and then we went to Texas, and there were 3 times throughout that I threw a bullpen, is what he said. And Harkey would just like get off the phone with Larry and say, Otto, you got the 6th, but King, throw a bullpen because you're going to start on Thursday and it's Tuesday. And I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So I throw my midweek bullpen kind of thing, shut it down, done. Move on to Texas, same exact thing. And it was, Otto, you got the 7th or whatever. Yeah, it was the 7th. King, throw a bullpen, you're going to start Sunday. And I'm like, why do you keep telling me I'm going to start? Like,
Ticking you around.
I haven't started yet. And
I heard he fucks with people.
He's very good at knowing you as a person. So like he said, he's had in the past, because he's been there for a few years. So
Yeah.
He's like, I have a kid that is now nervous as hell and like yipping it to the catcher, not even like hitting it anywhere near the catcher, and now he's got to go out there and pitch. Right. So he's like, I got to try to calm him down, make him think that he's not actually going into the game, and then he can let him go. So that's what he was trying to do with me. And so Otto's warming up on the mound. I'm throwing. I get 10 pitches in, and now we have, I think it was 1st and 3rd with 2 outs. DJ LeMahieu's hitting, and I think it was like 5-2, and he says, King, stop right now. If DJ hits a bomb, you're gonna go in the game. And I was like, all right, cool. And he's like, do you think you'll be ready in time? Like, yeah, you've thrown 10 pitches so far. Right. I haven't thrown a slider yet. And I was just like, I need like 5 pitches, but if he hits a bomb, I got 1 more out to like finish those pitches, then I'll go. And so I'm like sitting there. Otto's still throwing. He hits a line drive to left. The left fielder goes to dive. It's like in front of him, goes to dive after it, goes by him, ends up trying to stretch it into a triple, but he gets thrown out at 3rd.
Oh my God.
It's a 2-run score, but now it's inning over.
Worst case scenario for you.
I look at I haven't thrown. I look at Harkey and I'm like, am I in? And he's like, let me go check. Runs to the phone, calls down. He's like, yeah, you're in the game. And I'm like my slider's my worst pitch. I want to throw that. So I rip one like to my bullpen catcher. It would have like been behind a right-handed batter. I'm like, all right, let's go. The mound. And I remember Justice Sheffield telling me in 2018 that the most nervous he was not tripping, like running.
Yeah.
The bullpen
You
out
can't
there.
even feel your legs.
So now I'm like, I wasn't even thinking about the game. I'm like, get my feet up,
Left, right,
get my
left,
feet
right.
up, and going. And once I got out to the mound, Romine comes up. It was a shit show. Romine comes up to me and is like, I've never caught you before. What do you throw? And I'm like, I've never played catch with him, never thrown a bullpen to him. And I'm like, oh my God. And so I'm like, I throw a sinker, change was my best secondary, slider, like we'll mix it in. And he was like, all right, sounds good. And I'm telling you, my first like 6 pitches were cutters the whole time. And in my warm-ups, in the game, everything. And I come into the dugout and I'm like, were all those cutting? And he was just like, yeah. Didn't you tell me you threw a sinker? And I was like, I do. They were all
I swear I do.
It's like some Mariano shit. That's what all of a sudden you're just able to throw a cutter.
But my philosophy, because when I went out there for the second inning, it was better, but there were still like a few pitches that registered on TrackMan as cutters. The wind was howling from like 3rd base to 1st base, where I was standing there and I could feel it like pulling my jersey over there. So I'm like, yeah, maybe the wind was cutting it. But I mean, I ended up obviously doing fine. But I wasn't as nervous just because I felt like I was there for 8 days before I actually pitched, and I understood my routine. I understood the guys. I knew like it wasn't that big of a deal. Yeah. And then I don't know. It was just like I was playing another game.
That's awesome.
So, Clarke, let's go to you. Haven't had the debut yet. We'll probably have this conversation next spring training. We'll be like, how crazy was your debut?
Let's hope.
But 2017, you're like going to be a top prospect out of South Carolina. You undergo Tommy John a couple months before the draft. What was that whole process like from finding out you needed Tommy John right before the draft to the draft? Just
it was insane at the time. I didn't like when I remember the day like when I had it. I was throwing at Florida, and it was like a ESPN like primetime game. It was me versus Faedo, who was another first rounder that year. So like it was so many. It was like such a hyped up game, and I was like, and then I just blew out in like the 5th inning or 6th inning, and then like I go inside and they do all the Tommy John tests or whatever it is, and I pass them all, and I'm like, oh, maybe there's like hope that it's not torn. And then like I get the MRI and the doctor's like, yeah, your arm is like completely destroyed. So, and I was like, oh my, like, what do I do now? Like, I didn't know if I was gonna get drafted still. I didn't know if I was going back to school because it was like at that time where if I like rehab for 12 months, I probably wouldn't have even pitched in the season. Like I would have pitched a month in college. So I didn't really know what was going on. I talked to my agent and stuff, and they were just like, we're gonna do the draft. Like we'll figure this out. Like it's gonna work out. And then. Then it got closer to the draft. It was a month before the draft when I had the surgery, and then it got closer to the draft. It was like the week of, and then teams started like really like putting the press on, and you could kind of tell that I was probably gonna. I kind of had we kind of had an inkling that I was gonna get picked in the first round. We just didn't know who it was gonna be, and then like an hour before the draft, the Yankees were like, we're really on you. So like, and then the 16th pick came, and I really didn't think anything of it, and I got a text from my. I think it was from Brian Goodwin. He was the area scout with the Yankees from South Carolina, and he was like, "Congrats, you're gonna be wearing pinstripes." And I was like, "Oh my!" It was like the greatest feeling ever, and yeah, it was insane.
Do you think you would have got picked earlier if you didn't spell your name with an E?
Yeah, probably. I was like, "Where's this going?" I was like already ready to answer, and then that just took a turn. Yeah, obviously.
That's the worst question I've ever asked.
Actually, that's funny though, because my roommate in college, he was literally the only person I met whose other name was Clarke. His name was Clarke, and it was spelled with just a K.
I mean,
I've never met anyone.
You're a Clarke.
And we would, yeah, no.
It's Clarke.
No. And so we would walk around, and we'd go to like a bar, or like we'd be at a party or whatever, and be like, he would like walk up to someone, he'd be like, "Oh, my name's Clarke," and then I'd be like, "Right, my name's Clarke," and they're just like, "All right, you're joking. Like this is a joke. Like come on."
That's funny.
I will say this is a side note, and I'm just going to toot his own horn. We had a conversation about injuries yesterday, I think, and because we were talking to like the other guys that have gone through it, and he had one of the better mentalities like I've ever heard. Because every time I think of like, oh my god, my arm's hurting me, and I'm going to get TJ, I'm like, this could be it. Like this could be like the last time I throw a ball. And when he was saying that when he first found out that he needed TJ, that never crossed his mind. It was literally just like I'm going to be back out here and I'm going to be throwing as good as ever. And I feel like that also probably kept him in the first round, because if you have that mentality, then you're going to come back from the injury healthy.
Yeah, a lot of guys like worry about like, am I ever going to throw again, or like, am I ever going to be the same? And I don't think it never really crossed my. I was just like, okay, I got to get a year off from baseball.
Better
yeah, it's literally what I was like, because Walker Buehler was like one of the guys. He was like, this guy came back from Tommy John throwing like a 99, and he was just like the best pitcher in baseball. And so I was like, if he can do it, like obviously I can do it. So then it was just like one of those mentalities where it was like, I'm going to be better. Like just get a year to rehab and get stronger. So
do you find yourself stronger throwing harder? Except that does happen.
For sure. I feel like last year, especially when I first came back from Tommy John, and I had that. It was like I pitched for like maybe like 20 innings or whatever it was. Like, I was not throwing hard. I was like, I was like 90, 92, 94. I couldn't get above 95. And then the offseason came, and so I took that whole offseason and my first full season last year. And then, like, I came back just throwing. I was just pumping it. And it was like, I was like 97, 98. And I was like, I've never thrown this hard before.
That's
like,
awesome.
What's going on? And then just like, like through the season, your velocity would fluctuate or whatever. But I was throwing harder than I ever thrown.
Maybe we should get Tommy John just like for fun.
I
Marty
think I can.
needs it.
I think I can.
Yeah.
I think I got something. I have an unhidden talent. I think it's pitching. Yeah, no. I played first. I was not a good first baseman.
How often do you have, like, you mentioned that sometimes you'll throw a pitch like this is it. How often does that happen where you'll get a ping of the fuck? Because Tommy John's so prevalent nowadays. Like, does that happen a lot like this?
I mean, it doesn't happen too often, but like
That's good. That's nice.
Ideally, it doesn't.
Oh my god! I'm kidding.
But there's like a few instances in my whole career, but and I try to be. I'm more the guy that I always feel like I don't get sore after I pitch. Like I can throw 120 pitches, and then the next day still feel pretty good. Go out there, it'll be like a little stiffness, but once I loosen it up, I'm fine. But I remember like there was one time in high school I threw a pitch and I like kind of felt something pop, and I'm like, yikes, I don't know what that is. And then in college, it was like I had the same injury that I had last year, so like both times when those happen, you obviously just think of the worst. So now it's just like, I'm done. And now you're like, all right, I got 2 months off, and then it's grind time.
You get to a point where it's like you feel something, and you're just like, I'm pitching through it. I don't care.
Yes, I don't care.
It's
I'm
like
just
whatever
gonna go.
I feel, I'm just going.
I'll figure it out later.
It's gonna blow out when it blows out. So.
I get that with my chest, the left side. I think it's a heart
He
attack
doesn't-
coming, and it's just because I eat a lot of fast food and all
Hubs
that.
doesn't live
I
life
can relate
right.
to all this stuff.
I
What'd you say?
told you don't live life right. I told you there's something
Yeah,
weird
he's
about
he's
you.
launching an investigation against me. He doesn't think I live
He does
normal.
weird shit every time.
So mean.
Yeah.
A totally normal person. So
hate it.
I put deodorant on with one hand. I do this. Sorry, I'm a crazy
He
person.
goes like this.
No, he doesn't.
Yes.
Wait, like that?
Like I'll take a stick of deodorant and go boom, boom. Why don't transfer?
Dude.
That's insane.
And
That
it's
is
insane.
weird.
Something
That's
like
a serial killer.
someone.
Yeah.
Someone pointed it out in college. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know. Isn't that how you put it on deodorant? And then there's like,
All
no.
of a sudden, this interview's gotten real crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
you just
don't.
don't-
I'm thinking about it. Let's
You
get
can't
out
get
of
your
here.
whole. You can't get your whole pit like that.
That's
You
just
I do. I'm
like you have to
efficient.
have an incredible mobility because there's no way I'd be able to like get
no shit. Like I haven't showered.
Incredible mobility.
I haven't showered right in 25 years. I can't switch up my moment. What do you guys do? Do you?
What are you doing? This took a turn. This took a turn. I'm telling you.
So I always, because you're supposed to put shampoo in first. I can't fix it. I always do soap first and then shampoo, and then I'm just dirtying my body again.
Yeah.
It's a real shame. I
You
can't
gotta
switch.
get clean from the top down.
Yeah,
like,
it's a
belongs
shame.
on your body.
I
You what?
never even thought about that.
No, I don't.
You ever clean like you ever go down here and actually? I always let gravity. Yeah, I don't clean my feet.
Some
No.
people just like put the
So
soap on the
weird.
ground and then they just like
Yes,
put their
because
feet.
it's.
Yeah, that's bad.
But yeah, I don't want to get injured in the shower. I can't be doing that.
Don't like an 8-year-old grandma get injured.
Oh, I've been close. Close. I'm not good on tiles. You get one fall a year too. I fall once a year. I'll never fall more than once a year.
Have you had this?
I guarantee both of you have fell at least once every year.
That's like a
You
non.
said at least. Like you're saying that you will never fall twice. You only
Dude, I
fall
don't
once
know
a
the-
year.
I don't know the English language. I'm not sure what you're saying. No.
Okay.
What?
You're right. You're right.
Oh,
What
no,
kind of
only
fall?
once.
Like
Only
just, like,
once,
you
that's
could
what-
get out
like
and
a
just,
slip.
You won't fall
Okay.
twice.
I will-
Oh, okay, let's shift back to baseball for a little.
Shifting away from showering.
So you're really big. You're a video nut. You told us that last year.
Mm-hmm.
You're and especially now with Matt Blake here. Everything's just in hand. Are you that way too with video and all that, or are you more of a feel guy?
Yeah, it's funny. King and I, we both threw against the Rays the other day, and I was going in the video room, and I was anticipating seeing him in there before we got. It was right before the start, and what do you know? Like I walk in, I see him in there, and I was about to go like do scouting reports and watch video, and so we ended up just like doing the same scouting report, watching the same film. But yeah, I am. I kind of pride myself just like him on preparation. I feel like if it's kind of like taking a test or doing any, like if you're a businessman, you don't want to just go into a sale trying to you're not even prepared for the sale. So yeah, I'm big on film and kind of watching scouting reports, more so just like where they're standing in the batter's box, like you can see their stance and you can kind of get a feel and vibe off of that.
It's so much tougher in spring training though, just because
Yeah.
like a team can travel with like 50 guys and you have no idea who's going to be in the lineup at the time, and they might give you the lineup, but like we've been throwing. I know it was like Hap went 3, I went 2, he went 2, and I was talking to one of my buddies on the other team saying that he's going to come in for one of the infielders, but it's once they get a hit. It's either like their first 3 at bats, or
Yeah.
if they get a hit in their first at bat, then they're just going to pull
So
themselves.
you're doing
from the
like
lineup.
scouting reports on like 26 guys.
Yeah,
it's,
so
it's
it's-
insane.
It's tougher to do, and this is where like I hate the reliever lifestyle. I'll be able to do it if you want me there, but
I'll do what they want.
like because now I have to then prepare for everybody in their lineup, and now like game time, I have to know exactly where we are in the lineup, and then how I'm going to attack that guy, and I want my notes to be with me. So now I'm going to be in the bullpen with all my notes, and then I go out to the mound and my notes are in the bullpen. So like as a starter, you can totally prepare for 1 through 9 to start, and then it's like you can set guys up for their second and third at bats. And as a reliever, you have to pay attention to how they were being set up in their first and second at bats.
Yeah.
For then you facing them.
After spring training, I have a newfound respect for relievers. I'm like, how do these guys throw every other? They throw every other day.
Yeah.
They're like, I mean, and then like you'll at the end of the season, you'll see whoever it is, and they'll have like 60 innings as a reliever, and that's like a lot. And then like a starter's like 150, 165, whatever it is. And you're like, oh, it's easy. Like 60 innings, dude, I could do that every year. And then you like live that lifestyle for like a month, and I'm like, I'm out of this. I need out.
It's so you pitch once, it's like all right, now I got 5. Like, I have
Yeah,
5
that's
more.
what we were talking
Yeah.
about. We check out like
Yeah.
And like
I
you
could
don't
just-
wear a jersey on the field, like
Yeah.
you just put like a little hoodie on top. I'm not wearing.
You're literally a
belt half the
fan.
time.
There's
Yeah,
literally
that's what
there's
the
nothing
roof of my
better
team
than
100%.
than throwing a good start and then the next day you show up to the field and
Sure.
you're just like whatever. Like, you're
Seats,
walking around.
chilling, just
Yeah,
like-
I did my job. You're like at the field. I'm just like sitting there in the dugout, just like a fan of the game. Like doesn't even matter
like
what I'm
a
doing.
reliever punches out the side, and then the next day they might still have to be hot. So now it's like you do not get a day off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually insane. So Matt Blake's addition, what have been the conversations like with him? How have you've worked with Matt in the past? And you're familiar with him.
Yeah.
What has that been like, him being out there, compared to Larry? Obviously, I don't know how much you guys have ever talked to Larry in the past, but it's definitely got to be different going from Larry to Matt Blake for sure.
He's the smartest man ever.
Yeah.
We think he might be
Rocket
Yeah,
scientist.
honestly, could be, but like you don't feel that way when you talk to him. Like he makes you feel smart.
He does everything.
You look like Einstein.
There's a lot of times like I can't say a word.
But honestly, and I don't know how you're going to take this, Hubs, but Larry and Blake have very similar ideas. It's just Larry took it like the old school approach.
I see that. Yeah.
And because I remember when I threw my first bullpen in 18 with Larry behind me, I threw a changeup and it was awful. And he was talking about trying to he never once talked about the spin of the ball, but he was just trying to get my middle finger to the inside of the ball to create the depth that I needed or whatever it was. But all he talked about was changing my grip so then at release, the middle finger's getting to the inside of the ball. And when I talked to Blake about my changeup, you want to have 3 o'clock spin with seam shifted wake covering the top of it. So now it's a flat part on the top of the baseball where wind can actually push it down and there's no lace going through it. So I'm sitting there okay, now how do I get to that? And he's like, you got to get your middle finger to the inside of the ball to create a 3 o'clock spin to have the depth and the arm side run. And I'm like, that's kind of similar to what Larry was saying, except not in scientific terms.
Yeah.
So there's so much more information that Blake has at his hands and knows how to use to then transfer it to us as pitchers, where Larry was just the old school, I know what the ball's supposed to do and it's not doing it, so you gotta do this to then get it there. And so that's the biggest difference, obviously, but it's been great.
You give Marty 3 weeks with Matt Blake, he's winning a Cy Young.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, man. But he would be so sick of me. I'd be asking him shower. How do you shower?
There's something analytical that can go into shower, right? I'm sure.
I'm telling you, you had my brain. You'd be pissed off. Every day I got so many questions. Every day I ask them, how did languages start? Some guy was just like, what? You're a prick. I don't want to talk to you. I'm going to start speaking Spanish. How many languages do we have?
How about just you coming down here from Vegas and you asked us what time is it here, and you said I've texted 5 different people to see what time it is right now with the plagues. You just couldn't figure out time.
Time's
Check
so
your
unbelievable.
Just check
You
your
could be in Indiana or some shit. There's East Coast time and the fucking whatever the hour one. What's that one called? Central.
And there's Mountain West. Mountain West too.
No, the mountains is stupid. That doesn't make any sense. Which one's that? Is that 2 hours?
But then Washington don't do daylight savings. So
Arizona, no daylight. There was we're good.
Yeah.
We're all set,
I
guys.
mean, we just had a leap year. We don't talk about that much.
We don't talk about
A lot of things we don't talk about.
anyway, Garrett called. We thought about Matt Blake. Garrett is another great pitching mind to the rotation. He always talks about the art of pitching. Do you guys able to have conversations with him?
Yeah, I think we all do. I mean, everybody tries to pick his brain, and he's so open to talking about it. It's crazy how much he knows about pitching and how he goes about. Everybody has their own way of going about it, but his way of going about his craft is just it's so unique, and it's cool to see it. He just knows so much. He's so detail oriented in his preparation and even in his bullpens when he's warming up. It's just so cool to watch. And he'll even throw a pitch and he'll be like, "Oh, that's a great pitch." He'll say it out verbally, be like, "That's a great pitch." Yeah, and then he'll be like, "That's a bad pitch." And normally you watch a pitcher warm up and they're just throwing to warm up, they're just throwing hard, trying to warm up. But yeah, picking his brain in the lunchroom before, or we had pitcher meetings and stuff early on in spring training. He would come up to and he would just talk about his transition from Pittsburgh to Houston and how he went away from the sinker or two seam and stuff like that. And so yeah, it's good to pick his brain for sure.
He's just so like you said, attention to detail. Where Cressy's been here the last few days, and I was lifting and I was doing something with Cressy, and it was right before Cole was about to start his warm up, and Cressy whispered to me "Oh, now I get to watch his warm up," because obviously Cressy's not going to come in and change the best pitcher in the MLB's
Right.
warm up. So he wanted, and Cole didn't really like go out to Cressy to say like I want to change stuff. So he said I'm just going to watch it. And at the end of it, I went up to Cressy and said, so how was his warm up? And he said, honestly, like we definitely have differing like views. So there's a lot of stuff that I feel like he could be doing more of. But everything that he did was literally 100% perfect. Like he did like a bent over bicep curl with only like a 20-pound dumbbell, and it was like the most perfect like movement pattern that he can
he's
do.
so detailed.
He'll do like a body weight squat, and it's the most perfect movement pattern, like mobility based on his ankle and knee mobility. Like he was getting the perfect depth, and Cressy was like, it was insane the amount of detail that he put into his routine, and it was like awesome.
Every day he shows up, he
Routine, right?
It's crazy. Like he literally knows. He'll know what he's doing 4 days from now to the T. Like he knows every single thing that he's doing from when he shows up to the field to when he goes home and what he's eating and stuff. It's just crazy. And it's funny. Cole's been on King and I's case everywhere. Like any time we're in the locker room, he just comes up to me and he's always just shitting on me and King. Just like he'll see me. He's like, where's Jackass number 2? Here's Jackass 1. Where's Jackass number 2? And he just stays on our case. We were.
So he's loose. He's loose in like the club.
So yeah, we were stretching the other day, and so we're wearing full pants to stretch, and obviously when you're stretching, you don't want to put. Some people's opinion, Garrett Cole's, might differ from ours, but when you put your knee in the ground, you don't want to have like when you have that knee spot, wet spot. So King and I, we both pull our pants up, like that knee up, and we put our knee in the ground, and he sees it, and you would have thought we cut holes in our pants or something. Like he just destroyed us and was murdering
Generation
us
Z over
he's
here.
like, what generation
Can't
are
put
you
his pants
from?
in the ground.
Yeah.
And like honestly, I'm gonna blame the strength coaches for it because when it's like a little damp outside, you don't go on the ground.
Yeah.
You do like a
It has some
standing
feel.
stretch.
It has some feel in that.
And now it's like, all right, knee down, get the hip flexor, and I'm like, all right, here we go.
But having that little wet spot will kill me.
Yes.
It's
That's what I'm saying.
He's like, motherfucker.
It's a generation
wet.
thing. He must be right.
Yeah,
So
Gen Z.
and he was just murdering us.
And it also, I think we both had ankle socks on.
Yeah,
so like
that's-
once we
that's
really
a bad
pulled up,
idea.
it was just straight skin.
Yeah.
And they were like, "You're not Chapman. You don't got leg tats. You can't pull that off."
Yeah.
And we're like, "Yeah, you're right."
The whitest
But then we
legs.
couldn't like give in and look like little bitches. So
No,
we're like,
he's
all right,
actually-
we gotta keep him up.
He's I know we got the palest legs too. Like we're like pale white legs. So yeah, I kind of get where he's coming from. But ever since like he's just been on our case. Like he's got good bands.
It's kind of a good thing, to be honest.
Yeah, no, like
Yeah.
Garrett Cole's like making
guys. You know what I mean?
just like shitting on, like, shit on everybody.
Yeah, he'll be
that's
like
the
in the
work.
weight room, like talking about my breaking ball, like making fun of it. I'm like, it's okay. Garrett Cole's making fun. Like, there could be worse things.
He could be ignoring you. That would be bad.
Yeah,
so like,
exactly.
him talking to you is a good thing.
You know if your break ball is actually bad, he wouldn't be making
Yeah.
fun.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Trying to
That's
help
a
you
good
out with
thing.
something.
Yeah.
So Cole gets on you. Gardner is like the known prankster. Have you guys been the target of any Gardner pranks yet?
I haven't.
I haven't either. He's been nothing but nice to me.
So he's setting you up. He's setting you up for
that
disaster.
or a position player pitcher dynamic is like
Yeah.
like I feel like Cole like it's he's the one that kind of takes over the pitchers because he's the veteran, or like Sevy or whoever the older guy would be.
Hap comes in a
Hap,
lot.
he's real good about it.
Because you guys are with each other all the time.
Right.
Yeah, those guys
And we
always
know
do
each
and then
drills
and
shit.
then the position players they kind of I'm sure he's kind of
you
doing his
guys
own
pitchers
thing.
do nothing all day.
Yeah, we're just hanging out in the locker room.
So
Do you have to still run polls in?
Cressy took that
Yeah,
out.
Cressy.
You
Shout
do?
out to Cressy. He took those out.
Shout
Yeah.
out
I
to
mean,
Cressy.
Paul's
Because we
the
hate long distance
worst.
running. Oh, I'm terrible. Like if I can't do anything, it's long distance running.
No,
Yeah.
I'm
it's
so
like,
bad
and
at it.
whoever
It
runs
was-
for fun's insane.
I totally agree. Totally agree.
That's psycho. Yeah.
But it was this year. It was the first year that we haven't had to run the 2 mile test. So
Okay.
every pitcher comes in and has to do a 2 mile conditioning test. You have to get it under 15 minutes. No, it doesn't sound that bad.
It
but
doesn't
is-
sound bad. It's
I'm
it's
trying to think if I
impossible.
could do that. It's 8.5 laps around the field. So it's not like you're running like a mile and back and like you get some like different scenery. It's like you got 12 dudes and it'll be like right after a bullpen. So now your legs.
Oh,
are
it's not the
gassed.
first thing you do.
Oh God! And
No,
then,
yeah.
and then you just
And it's like you're trying to run a pole. Like the gravel of a pole is like there's not a lot of room in the warning track, and there's like 20 dudes. You're just bumping it, and you can't run around the cone. You got to go around the cone. And
if you cheat that one, they're gonna.
needless
call
to
you
say,
out.
I failed it. I failed it like 3 times last year. Literally,
Really?
yeah. I literally could not beat it, and I was like, I can't do this. And then
Sorry, I threw 98. I just can't run.
My baseball career's over. I
and
just
they
can't
were
run
like,
fast.
we're not letting you pitch until you complete it. And I was like, all right. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to do it today. And I did it, and I beat it. But yeah,
they're like
that was
sticklers
impossible.
too. Like my roommates they got like 1501 or 1502.
Oh,
and they're
yeah,
like,
they won't.
nope, you got to rerun it.
What?
Yeah, it was insane.
Seconds,
It
it's
was
like a veteran
insane.
guy. It was a guy that was in double A. And it's like, are you kidding me? And like,
And then Cressy
sorry,
got
bro.
here this year, and it's like, we'll run 60-yard sprints, and it's like
Yeah.
just cake. You're so you
That's
feel
what I
so
need.
good after your legs are. You feel amazing, and it does. It changes like kind of your like. I would fear going to the field every day last year and spring training. I'm like, God,
the
here's
worst
a
thing
2
about
mile.
the day is running.
Yeah.
And like and so then to me it just took away from my routine because it's like day one is the day that I want to be like heavy leg day. I'm still like throwing a decent amount, and I want to like get after it in the weight room. And now it's like, okay, yeah, you actually have a 30-minute jog.
Yeah.
And now you got to go. And so now I'm like gassed running the floor to heat for 30 minutes. And then I go into the legs and I'm like, all right, now I'm not putting up any weight.
Right.
Yeah, so it just like killed.
It ruined your day,
Yeah.
for sure.
So do you sense like a big change with Cressy so far this year?
100%. King can attest to it
Right.
more because he's been around him so much.
Definitely.
I've like it's kind of weird. Like I've been like a fan of his. I guess you could say like I just always have followed like his stuff.
It's like a mysterious name.
Yeah,
too. It's like
he's-
what goes on in Cressy?
Yeah, it's like what this guy has had so many like world class like baseball players and athletes, and he's so smart and like just his knowledge of the game and of like performance science is insane. So I've always followed him, and then I saw him in the locker room when I first got down to spring training. I was like, dude, that's crazy. Like I don't ever get starstruck.
He's the mysterious
and I'm like,
guy.
dude, this is the guy who's like healing everyone, and like
Yeah.
it's like he's got some magic powder. Yeah, yeah, out of my way. But yeah, there's definitely like a change in like the lifting program and the strength and conditioning and the especially like the PT stuff, like as far as like soft tissue and like the modalities and stuff like that. It was kind of like if you're in the training room, it was like, oh, why are you in the training room? Are you hurt? Like if you asked for a massage before, it was like, why are you getting a massage? And now it's like open arms. Like if they encourage it. They want you to go in there. They want you to get soft tissue. They want you to go like the extra mile and do the extra things. And that's all from Cressy.
Yeah, and Brett McCabe, the new big league guy, and his assistant Matt are both like certified massage therapists. So now it's like not only do we get the strength and conditioning from them, but we also don't need to go to a PT or an AT, whatever it is, to almost feel like you're getting hurt. It's like you're in the weight room and you're like, hey, like my lat's kind of bothering me. Will you dig in there a little bit? And they just like go right in.
Yeah, Cressy's such an underrated
That's
asset.
awesome.
I think like he's just like a guru. Like he knows so much.
This whole time you're talking about massage, I'm thinking about your disaster massage you had a couple weeks ago.
Let's move on.
I wanted to get a massage.
Was it with
and
Robert Kraft?
I made an accident. No, I did not want a hand job. I almost wanted to specify.
Everyone wants a hand job. Don't even lie. Everyone wants a hand job.
Where did you go to get a massage?
Yeah, what
Massage
was it called?
Envy or like,
No, so I wanted to go to the
Orchids
massage
of Asia?
where they didn't have appointments. So I went to this place, Living Men's Fresh Spa. It might have been a gay spa. I don't know for sure. Not there's anything wrong with that, but
Nothing.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
You know? In another lifetime.
That sounds like a great establishment,
So
though. That's a good
I
name.
go there and like I walk in and I didn't want to ask on the phone. Like sometimes I'll ask on a male or female
Right.
massage, and I'll always be like, it doesn't matter. Actually, female. So I don't come off like a creep, but like
Right.
I want the female. So
I want the female. That sounds creepy.
that's a tough sentence.
That's tough.
I want the female. Now that I think about it, it's
Anyway, I get there, but they still don't say it's a male, female. Like, fuck. So I go in there, like, Enrique's going to be taking care of these guys. Like, shit. It starts off with, like, a bubble bath. I'm like, I'm getting water
Whoa.
and chocolates. Pretty pleasant.
Fed you?
yeah.
What?
Like hand fed you?
No.
Enrique's dropping strawberries in your mouth.
And then, like, so with the massage, you had to add something else, like a face. I don't want to. It was like a body scrub. So I was like, okay, that's probably just like ointments and shit. I'd be bare ass naked, and he just rubbed down.
Oh my god, this is miserable.
And I
Didn't read the book.
Marty reading? Come
I haven't
on.
read a goddamn thing in years.
Marty's not reading.
Yeah. So he just like scrubbed me down like also it was this is not funny, but like it was like an hour. It was a half hour after Kobe died. So like it was like there was a point in my head where I was like I was walking in the waiting room. I was like, do I cancel my massage like because Kobe died? Like, is this something you cancel your massage over?
Yeah, that could be.
I guess
That's a good point.
Like, I was trying to make a little small talk. I was like, can't believe Kobe.
Oh.
scrum my ass. So like,
He's scrubbing your ass. You're asking about Kobe Bryant.
Like, crazy about Kobe. And he's like, what happened? I was like, I'm like dying in a helicopter crash. He's like, oh no, it was a friend of yours. I was like, okay, this is not an NBA.
Enrique does not know Kobe.
Yeah, I took a shower, then he massaged me. It was, I mean,
So out of 10, what do you?
overall, like 9 out of 10. No, it was. The massage itself was fine. Like I can get massaged by a guy and not be like freaked out. Like that's a normal. And you guys probably get massaged.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
One second.
Yeah.
What are you saying here?
I'm saying the body stuff was the tough one. Is all.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah.
That was also your call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know. It didn't say you're gonna be butt ass naked and it's gonna be.
Well, bodies.
Enrique,
Yeah.
I don't want my ass out.
I had to do something. I didn't want a facial.
Oh,
Okay.
Who knows what that would have been?
Yeah. Oh God. All right. On that note, we're gonna move on.
All right, a few more things we need to get you guys out of here.
You could have kept that all to yourself.
Yeah.
You didn't have to tell anybody that. You didn't have to tell anybody.
I knew it'd be funny.
Like third question, Matt Blake, and then
Did you read my butt massage blog?
Oh my god.
give me the Addy too. I want to go there.
Yeah.
We mentioned pitchers and pitchers, they communicate. Cole, what's it like with Canley? I mean, he's an absolute crazy person.
Yeah.
Like this whole, and he's really come out this spring training because you guys getting mic'd up and all
Yeah.
that. You're starting to hear all these unintelligible voices out of him.
He's hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, like, just being around the guy, like, when he is like 3 rooms down, like when I'm in the locker room in the morning, and you can just kind of like it just be dead quiet. And next thing you know, you hear yeah, and Tommy walks in with like his FC Bayern like jersey on, like a backwards hat, and just like yeah, like running. He's like, "Where's Britt at?" Like he's always like looking to make.
He loves Britt.
Yeah, he's looking for someone to make fun of.
They seem like they would be in a good like
They're
buddy
like-
cop movie or something like that.
Yeah, there's something should be written about them.
Yeah.
They're hilarious together. So yeah, they have like this Madden tournament going on, and
I heard about
not
he's the
stop
commish.
talking about this.
He's the commissioner.
He's the
Yeah.
commish.
You're the Pats.
Yep.
Are you good?
I,
Like it's kind of a bullshit move to pick the Pats in the Madden.
Well, no. So you
Draft.
picked your own team, and then we did a fantasy draft. So like my quarterback's Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh.
But I run the ball a lot and I play defense. So all my
The
picks.
2 worst things to play.
That's
the worst person to play in
He's
Madden.
like
the worst.
I
to play.
run-
It's like Schmidt.
Like you don't want to play me because I'll have like a 6-minute possession because I'm just running the ball 3 times to get a first down.
Miserable.
You play football.
But,
You
but
actually
yeah,
play
I actually
football.
try to play football.
Not
Do you
like
need
I'm
a ball?
throwing
Do you need a
fucking-
ball at the end? You're near.
Oh yeah, and we talk about it because like Ben Heller was playing. It might have been Holder or something like that, and he tried. No, it was Hicks. Ben Heller was playing Hicks, and we're in a group chat with it too. So you can't like watch the other team playing, but like at the end of it, you see the results. And Ben is up like 36-14, and it's towards the end of the game, and Ben's got the ball and he's trying to run up the score, and he ends up throwing a pick 6. So it makes it like 36-21 with like 10 seconds left, and now Ben's getting the ball back, and Hicks like quits out. So now the game doesn't count, and Hicks goes right to the group chat like Ben trying to be like a stud here, tries to run up the score, and our pick like he throws a pick 6, and then our game quits out, like trying to say this, and Canley's like, dude, you were down by 14 still, and like with 10 seconds left, like I have to now sim that and give Ben a win. But like, so I'm the type that if I'm up by multiple touchdowns under 2 minutes, then yeah, I'll still play football. But if I'm up 1 score,
There's
oh my
nothing
God.
more surprising than Kinger playing like analytical, articulate football, just running the ball.
But yeah, my draft picks, I had like Von Miller first because I always play like a defensive lineman. And
Yeah,
and
it's
go in.
like
Insane.
Yeah.
But no, my first 3 were all defense. It was Von Miller, Myles Garrett, and then Tyrann Mathieu. And then I went.
That's what I'm saying.
And then I went
In the
all-
head.
No wonder
Why-
Teddy Bridgewater's your quarterback.
That's how I was wondering.
Like,
How'd you get him?
I don't know. And so then my O line, they're all like I have like an 84 overall left tackle, and then I got Richie Incognito, who's an 88. Jason Kelsey at center, who's a 90. He's my like number 1 overall. He's like a 97 or something like that. And then my right guard, I don't even know who he is, but he's a 93. And I just
Who's your running back?
Devontae Freeman.
Okay.
If you're not drafting Patrick Mahomes,
Yeah.
then, like,
Michael Tom, like
then, like,
that's
you got your best receiver. Yeah, it's always quarterback, receiver, running back. Like
Exactly.
in any order. This guy.
he's drafting linemen.
I mean,
He's drafting
I'm 9-0.
linemen.
No one.
Oh.
drafts
I
linemen.
know.
Well, the
We're
report
going
today
on.
was that LeMahieu's in first. So is
So
that just wrong?
I mean, he's also undefeated, but we haven't played each other.
Ooh.
The problem is you can only you play the computer if you're not like if a guy's not.
There's only 8 people in the
and
league.
I still have yet to play a person. My next matchup is Tommy, so that'll be if I lose to Tommy, then I know that I'm not a good Madden
When
player.
do these games happen? They once a week or?
We try to do it every day. So there are times where like guys can't play each other because they got something, so we push it a day. But Tommy's kind of getting like a stickler now on it, where it's like got to be done by midnight every day because we're trying to advance weeks and get to playoffs.
All right, so you got to tell me how that match goes.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
six.
They have something to do. They have to play baseball.
We got 6 AFC teams and 6 NFC teams. So for the most part, if you're playing the computer, we're on all Madden, so like there are a lot of times. Like Tyler Wade played 7 times against the computer and couldn't beat him. So then Tommy had to like sim him to win.
That is impressive. Beating a computer at all Madden is
All Madden's
not
tough.
easy.
Yeah, that's what
All
I'm
Madden's
saying.
tough.
Computers
So
are.
like, I mean,
You're going to beat
probably-
everybody else, no problem.
I don't know. Because I still had to replay. I think I've had to replay 3 games. So I'm really like 6-3 against the all Madden.
What do you mean
but-
replay the games?
So it's like if there's 10 seconds left and you're losing, you just quit it and then start it again.
Oh,
Yeah.
What is that?
Whoa!
That's what we do. So like what I'm saying is Tyler Wade played the exact same team 7 times, but quit it
Just
because he
kept
knew he was going to
quitting.
lose and then started again.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I used to do that all the
We
time.
want everybody to be in playoffs, so that's why we're
Oh.
trying.
Yeah, you don't want computers.
And that's what like Tommy's saying. We
Got
want it to be every day. So at midnight he'll sim it, and if you haven't played your game, he just gives you an auto win because we want everybody to be in playoffs. So now it's actually like a fun
got it.
Yes.
playoff format.
No.
Huh.
When you played on live as a kid, did you ever actually play out the game when you?
I used to call Xbox when my
you beat me like that.
this might not surprise you, but when my internet connection would go out and I got like a loss online, like my Madden record was a big thing to me. I would call Xbox and try and ask them to reset my record. Or
Oh,
something
for
like
sure.
that.
I was number 1 in MLB 2012. Number 1 in the world.
I was like 70 in
That's
Madden.
so not true.
You assholes. 7 minutes. I took a video. For 7 minutes, I was number 1.
On an NBA Live. NBA Live, I was top 100 in the world for a little bit, and it was really cool. No one cared
Crazy, yeah.
at all.
That's a life achievement.
Yeah.
You got Talkman coming on, right?
Yeah,
You
Wednesday.
got so Talkman beat Holder like 49-0, and so Holder was like wanted to get out of the league because it was a big embarrassment. And then the next day, Talkman could not beat the computer, and so like Holder was like giving him shit for it. Like it makes me feel so much better that you have now played the computer 6 times and haven't beat him.
I wonder how the DJ plays. He's probably just so. Oh, he's a big Lions guy.
Tommy said So DJ beat Tommy, and Tommy said that the only team that can beat Tommy is DJ. Like Ben Heller's another good player, but Tommy killed him.
He definitely has like the Ravens and analytic department's like 4th and 3rd, go for it here. He has that.
Yeah. It's like what percentages? Like what? Yeah.
Or he has like
3% chance.
he hooks up his laptop, like connects it. And he has like analytics, like deciding what the next play is.
He hired an intern just for that.
100%. I love that. Guys, this has been awesome. You guys are the future of this rotation, I believe. Hopefully, we'll see you both in the Bronx this year, if not to start the year. Yeah, I mean, you guys have anything else to add?
No, that was
Yeah, this was a lot of fun, guys.
That was
Thank
awesome.
you for having me.
Appreciate
All right,
it,
Mike
guys.
King, Clarke Schmidt, they'll be back in the Bronx very soon.